We are live, and I've got Becky with me today, and she's asked me to play this song. Where it began, I can't begin to know it, but then I know it's growing strong. Was it the spring? Who'd be picking the summer? Who'd have believed you'd come along? And sing along, touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. All together now, sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. Good times never feel so good. So good, so good, so good. There you go. That's the song. I'm not going to play it all because we want to talk to you, Becky.
Well, thank you very much, Ashley. That was lovely.
Always gets the crowd going, that song. So my first question to my guest every single week is, why did you choose that song?
Well, it's really simple. So for a long time, I was a wedding photographer. And during the time that I was doing that, I got to, my time sort of finished just after the first dance, maybe like about 9:30, 10:30, somewhere around there. And nearly every time the song that I finished to was Sweet Caroline. So you've got your DJ or your band and they do the person's first dance. And then all the crowd comes in and I get all those great dance floor shots. And then they put on pretty much most of the time, it gets to around about 30 minutes later when they put on Sweet Caroline and the whole crowd goes crazy and you've got your mum and your gran and everyone joins in. And I found that song was like my kind of Friday night song because I knew that after a 10-12 hour gig that I was finished and I get the best pictures because all of those people were engaged and really interesting. So it's not my favorite song, but it has a lot of sort of sentiment behind it because I kind of feel that works really well. And, you know, it's really upbeat. And so that's why I chose it. So thanks very much for playing it.
No, that's absolutely fantastic. What a great story. Yeah. So whenever you hear that song, you sort of like think, oh, I've just finished doing all those photographs. And that's where the fun starts, isn't it? Because then you've got to go and edit them.
Yeah, well, I find the fun is that bit, particularly on the dance floor when everyone's excited, but also when you've got all the formalities out of the way on those particular sorts of days, but where you're still coordinating people and getting those great pictures where everyone's looking supernatural and relaxed. So I enjoy that bit. Yeah.
Perfect. So Becky Craven, tell us a little bit about yourself then. We know you used to be a wedding photographer. What do you do now?
I'm still a photographer. I work as a commercial photographer, but I work in three ways. So I believe that photography's got three elements in all businesses. So you need professional pictures. Hi, that's what I do. But then you also need to learn how to take pictures yourself for everyday activities. So that's like using your smartphone. So I teach people how to take better pictures in their business using their smartphone, how to do a bit of video. So they've got the behind the scenes, so they can use it here on LinkedIn or over on Instagram, which is my other kind of favorite social media platform. So teaching that either in business or through a course. And then the third part of all photography in a business is repurposing and reusing other people's pictures. So on Instagram, it's learning how you use other people's pictures so that you have an abundance of content. And like you do every Monday, you put out your brilliant content ideas and to spark up those, content of what you can do. But also it's how you use other people's work. So if you're like a hotel or a B&B or a restaurant or loads of different industries where someone's taking a picture and they're going, I'm having a great time doing this, or they come to one of your gigs, Ashley, and they're like, oh, I really enjoy that. Now, it's great that, we put out content that we want people to hear, but the best thing is having those reviews so that you can have quite honest, authentic relationships that you build with people, and it's by repurposing and reusing them. And there's a few ways of doing that. So I teach that, and I teach that predominantly through Instagram or through social media generally, how you do that. So there's those kind of three things that I do. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. We've got a photographer on the line. So hi Ash, how are you? Yeah, who wants to do editing on a day like today? Hey,
Yeah.
but it's got to be done, I'm afraid. And Elliot saying this is very interesting. So I've got a question for you here. What you come and take some brand photos of me. What camera are you going to use?
Do you know what, Ashley? I don't think it's relevant to have that conversation.
No, but I just want to know because you photographers, right? You either have a Nikon or a Canon predominantly, but you're advocating I use this.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's impressive, because some of these cameras that you guys use, you're looking at, multiple thousands of pounds, and then the same for the lenses. So, you could turn up at a shoot with, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 grand's worth of kit.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're saying I could get away with my phone that I pay 30 quid a month for?
I know, I'm not exactly saying that. I get asked a lot about what kind of kit I have in my bag. And the reason I kind of rebuff that kind of conversation is simply that it's not about the kit that I have. It's not like if you gave me Tiger Woods golf clubs, it would make
you would take rubbish photos with those, wouldn't you?
But I'd also take rubbish golf shots. And it's that people get super hung up on your kit, and the marketing from Canon and Nikon, it is a lot to do with that kind of brand awareness. And they suggest that if you buy this kit, this bit of lens, you're going to take great photos. I'm just saying, I'm happy to talk to you about my kit. I use Canon. I have done for a long time. I started off with Nikon. I swapped over. Yeah, I've got a big quantity of lenses and lighting kit and loads of stuff that I go out when I do a shoot. And I'm not saying that you don't need a professional photographer. All I'm saying is that at the moment, with the quantity of social media activity that's happening, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitter, most people can't afford to have a photographer with them day in, day out. And neither do people want to see that. Your clients and customers don't want to see that. So have your professional pictures as your hero shots, as the ones that you put on your website, that these are the ones that fit with your brand. That's important, and get a professional photographer to do that. But you need to learn how to use your smartphone that you pay £30 a month or whatever it is, because you need the abundance of images to show the authenticity, so to show that content is reflective and in line with your own brand images. And the way to do that is learning and using your smartphone to do that. Some people know how to use their own camera and they've got their own kit. That's great. But the fact that the smartphone, you can edit it all on there, you can take the pictures and you can get it all done within about 10, 15 minutes, most of the case. You don't have to do, like you say at the beginning, I don't have to go off and edit those pictures. I don't have to go and process anything. I've just got it there. And it might be a bit rough and ready. It might be a little bit scrappier, but people want to see that. They want to kind of lift that veil and see behind there. And so that's the reason I suggest it's okay to do both things. Same for photographers. Photographers also need to let go a little bit of those professional ideas and be able to use a smartphone to show some of the things behind the scenes, what it's really like.
Yeah, no, absolutely perfect. I love this. This is so cool. And I think Richard agrees too. Becky's point about smartphones is crucial. They're with us all the time. Professional photographers are not real for those candid shot. I guess that's what he's trying to type there. But yes, absolutely, absolutely, Richard. And this is the thing that I really love about what you're saying here is you need photos. You have to have photos. It's all about the image and letting people know exactly what you do, how you do it, why you do it. But you don't have to pay for Becky to come around and take those photos all of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be there to do like you say, the hero shots. But my day in, day out, if I use this properly, I can take better photographs than Bob Smith up the road with his £1,000 worth of camera because he hasn't got a clue how to use it.
Well, most cases that is true. People get hung up with the idea that they need to take good pictures for their business. Either they can't afford a photographer or they know the abundance of images is needed. We live in that digital age. So they may be accepting that they need that. So they go out and they buy that 500, 600, £1,000 kit. And then they spend a long time trying to learn how to take the pictures. But there's actually, I've done my 10,000 hours of taking photos. It's not going to be the same as if you've just gone out and done that. Whereas learning how to see, learning how to look, learning how to set up things, how light works, how your business wants to be portrayed in those images is far more important than talking about the kit that you have. learning how to, like I say, same analogy with the golf clubs. It's not about your kit. It's about what you can do with it and your skills with it. So, yeah.
No, brilliant. I love it. You're so passionate as well. So tell me, this course, how does this course work? Do you come around to my shed and show me, or how does it all work?
So you've got two options is what you would do. I could come around and see you, but as it was a one-to-one, Ashley, you might just want to do, a one-to-one session, but you can download the course through my website. So you can download the smartphone photography course and get going with it quite quickly. It's around about 5 hours of recording, but there's other activities that you can do in there. So it teaches you how to take better headshots, or how to set up your product photos, or how to take pictures when you have nothing to say and it's the middle of winter and there's no inspiration outside. So it teaches you that, but also like the skills about editing. So a lot of people do that direction. The other thing that I do is I go into places like marketing, communication agencies, bigger organizations where they've got a team of maybe 5 or 6 people that know that they need to use more pictures, whether they're doing events or updating headshots or any of the things that they want to be able to do on their social media. So they learn how to use their smartphone. So I either do it as a half day or as a full day, and I show them behind the scenes on video as well. So you can book that. So I've got those sessions planned and booked in starting from the autumn as well. So yeah.
Wow, you are gonna be busy, aren't you?
Well, I teach a lot of Instagram as well, but it comes from the core of photography. So teaching people how they use their Instagram, that is my first love. LinkedIn's probably my second love, if I'm honest. I know that's hard to hear.
It's okay. It's absolutely okay, because you are using LinkedIn. You've just updated your profile, so that's looking really cool now. Why do you use LinkedIn, Becky?
Well, do you know what? I was on LinkedIn a long time ago, and I used it predominantly for finding jobs and just like having a bit of a nose about what other jobs or industries were, how they were working. So that's how I started out on LinkedIn. I then stopped and had nothing to really do with it. And then I met Vic Williams through something else, and in Exeter, he does a course called LinkedIn Local. And so he said, why don't you come along to this LinkedIn Local thing? And I thought, God, that sounds horrendous. Why would I want to hang out with anyone from LinkedIn? It's quite stuffy. It's quite difficult. But he was quite infectious in this idea. So I thought, okay, fine. What have I got to lose? I go for half an hour. And it was lovely. It was this great group of people. So I started that. And then I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to go to this, I'm going to need to update my LinkedIn. And then towards the end of the pandemic, and where I was like working a lot in a different kind of way, I decided to use it a lot more. So in the last year, I've been a lot more active. And then through that, I met you, and then you were super infectious with like, this is how you can use LinkedIn really well. So all your teachings and all the help and the course that you run, that 15 minutes. And I thought, okay, this is far more accessible for me, because like I say, I love Instagram and it's visual, but LinkedIn's a different kind of fish. So what you taught me has really helped with LinkedIn generally, but also I found like quite a good community and have really interesting, valuable conversations. And it's not salesy or anything like that. It's just like, oh, that's interesting. How are you doing that? And connecting with people. And so I think the LinkedIn community is a lot nicer, a lot kind of more supportive and
collaborative, aren't they?
Exactly. And so so I've used it for a long time, but I've not properly used it for maybe the last year or so.
No, cool. That's superb. How much time do you reckon you spend daily on LinkedIn, Becky?
I do exactly what you tell me, which is 15 minutes a day.
And how does that compare with your use of other social media? How much do you spend on the others? And this isn't a trick question. There's no right or wrong answer. Don't worry what you say.
So if I'm honest, with LinkedIn, I try to do 15 minutes a day, but some days I do spend longer because I want to connect with different people and to have like more meaningful conversations through the messaging function. So sometimes I will do that. So maybe once or twice a week, I will use that function, but I definitely engage with it on a regular basis, 5 times a week, where I'm commenting. If I'm not posting, then I'm commenting and chatting to people or messaging people directly. So I find that works for me. With Instagram, I use that more frequently because it's got like a story function, things disappear. So I do a lot of behind the scenes. I do a lot of visual referencing. I've got the posting, I've got lots of videos. So I much prefer, if it was between text and video, I prefer to do video. But what I've discovered for me, LinkedIn sort of works a bit better with my posts if I just use text and I don't use image and text or video and text. I find the video, I mean, I might be wrong, but for me, if I post videos that I post on Instagram, they don't work as well. They don't translate as well on LinkedIn. So I try to post consecutively. So if I post on LinkedIn, I also post on Instagram, but I do that a week later or so. And please don't go into my account and check, because sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. When I'm really rushed, I put the same thing on LinkedIn as I put on Instagram. That's not ideal. I try to kind of rotate it. So I've got something on LinkedIn and something else on Instagram, and then I rotate that round on a weekly kind of basis. So something else will happen, because I know that people flick from one to the other. So that's what works for me.
Perfect. And I think that's the key. It's what works for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't listen to anybody else.
Yeah.
One of the slides on my training is when's the best time to post something, and anyone that's been on my workshops know that the answer is now.
Yeah.
All right. People get hung up on, I've got to do it here, I've got to do it there. Do what works for you. Yeah. You've got children, so you've got to balance them. You've got a busy work life, you've got to balance that. So posting on the same day every at the same time every single day, that's not going to work for you. You've got to be flexible. So you've got to do what works for you. And I think that's dead key. Richard thinks LinkedIn a shark.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. And Richard is joking there, because he loves LinkedIn too. And he does an awful lot of great things on LinkedIn. You said that you like community and you like helping people and, being creative. You've set something up all about that. Tell us a little bit about that.
I have. It's in its infancy. It only started last month, and it's a creative network based in Exeter. It's for people outside of Exeter and the surrounding area, because I don't actually
like Sidmouth.
Yeah, like Sidmouth. Like, let's say Devon, Ashley. Let's be like kind of bold and say Devon, or maybe even the Southwest. But I was doing some work with Richard Love at BIPC and met some lovely people through the Exeter Library and through the work that he does. And we were talking along with Exeter Phoenix and said, we really need a collective, like a place where creatives can chat and we can share work, but we can have those interesting, valuable conversations. And since COVID, that hasn't really happened. So I said, okay, I'd quite like to do that. And they said, go on, Becky, do that then. And so I thought, right, okay, how's that actually going to work? Because I'm quite busy anyway. But we did a launch event last month, and 10 or 15 people came to it. And then I set up an online group so people can continue talking afterwards. But really, it's aimed at graphic designers, illustrators, photographers, anyone who works in a creative industry. So that we can have a panel of people that we're going to talk. We're going to start, the next event is in September at Exeter Phoenix, and it's about collectively coming together and not working in silos. So it's not just for people who do the BIPC, it's not just for graphic designers, it's not just for photographers. There's lots of kind of silo working that's happening. And we want to try and make Exeter a creative hub, a place where people who are creative and forward thinking and interesting to be able to come to. So you don't have to live in Exeter to do it, but it's a place where you can all sort of come together and network and collaborate, and having these different guest speakers to come along and help and support us with our business, but also to inspire us and to be able to talk. So that starts on a monthly basis. You would be more than welcome, Ashley. And anyone else, it can come along. You can find out about it from my profile.
Fantastic. What you can do is at the end of this show, if you go into this post, you can actually add all of those links so people can get hold of you. You can put your link in for your workshop and things like that. So that's cool. Do you get any business as a result of your activity on LinkedIn, Becky?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I get inquiries. I've got 2 inquiries that came through yesterday. I get inquiries from people who want things like brand photos, they want Instagram training, they want to learn about how to do their smartphone. I got a nice little collective of people that came along and want some things through that. So it works really well for me in that sense. And I think it's a good platform. I think it's a really good platform for it. I don't think it's somewhere that you go and sell, though. I mean, if you look back at any of my posts, I'm kind of talking about a lot of other stuff. I do sort of photography tips in there as well, but they're more for everybody to learn about, like, how can I take better pictures of things? But most of the time they're just having a chat with people. I find that super easy and I love doing that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this is why I love LinkedIn. And all we're doing is we're just building up that know, like, and trust thing. So people start to know you, like you, and trust you, and then sort of like, oh, hang on a minute, I want to learn how to take better photos. I'll have a chat with Becky. I need this brand photography do. I need to talk to Becky. I'm struggling on Instagram. What do I do? I need to talk to Becky. And I'll give that right back to you. What you've taught me on Instagram is absolutely amazing. So thank you for your help.
No, it's good.
Super duper.
It works the other way, actually, as well, that I get interesting conversations with people in other parts of the world. So I was talking to someone last Friday from Sydney, and the reason I connected with them is because I used to work where they were working. So there's no like we're trying to sell something to each other. It was just like interesting conversation. It was valuable, and I really like those. You know, it's like networking generally. I like that connection.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've got one more question for you, but before we do that, I'm just going to go and just share my guests for next week. See you, Richard. Thanks very much. If anyone's got any questions, please let us know. But I'm just going to go in because next week I have got Amy Rowlingson joining me. Where is she? There she is. She is an awesome podcaster. She does this amazing podcast called Start With Why. And she's just really lovely. So I'm looking forward to having a chat with her. I've been on her show, so the tables are turning. So she'll be on my show next week. So my final question to you: what advice would you give your 16-year-old self, Becky?
I wondered if you were going to ask me that question, and I have nothing prepared for it whatsoever. I would say be bold and be courageous and follow your dream, but be realistic that it's not going to happen straight away. It's going to take consistency, and it's going to take the ability to just keep going when it's difficult and explore. I think the thing that I've learned the most since I was 16 is go and travel and go and meet people and find your tribe, because at 16, I've got a 16-year-old kid, and I know that at that particular age, you're a little bit all over the place, but you think you know this, but you're not sure about that. And the only way to kind of do it is actually to do stuff. And then by doing things, you'll learn, do you like that or do you not like that? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? So I would encourage people to be bold and, follow what they want to do, but be aware that it's not going to be a straight path. It's going to be quite weaving and curious.
No,
but
great
hold tight.
Great advice. And you are definitely bold. Lovely to have you today, Becky. I could chat to you for hours, but this is only supposed to be 15 minutes. I think we've run over a little bit. Thank you so much for being on my show. Thank you to everybody for all your lovely conversations and chats and stuff. And I will be back next week with Amy. Cheerio, Becky. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See ya.